Here's something most cat owners do every single day without realizing it's wrong. You reach for your cat. You pet them. Maybe along the back, maybe a quick scratch behind the ears, maybe the full stroke from head to tail that feels natural and affectionate and completely normal. Your cat tolerates it. Maybe they stay. Maybe they eventually walk away. Maybe if you've been doing it a certain way for long enough, they've started to avoid your hand altogether without you quite noticing when that started. And you've never questioned it, because petting a cat seems like the most intuitive thing in the world. You reach, you stroke. They're a cat. What could possibly be wrong with that? Here's the thing. The way most people pet their cats is not what their cat experiences as affection. It is what their cat experiences as something to be managed, tolerated, waited out. Here's what most cat owners don't realize. Petting done wrong doesn't just fail to communicate love, it actively erodes the trust your cat has in physical contact with you. Over months and years of being touched in ways that don't match their biology, cats learn to associate your reaching hand with mild discomfort rather than genuine connection. And the saddest part? They never tell you. They just quietly start sitting a little further away. Today we're fixing that. Completely. 1. The strokes that work against you. Let's start with the most common petting mistake, because this is where it gets really interesting. The long stroke. Head to tail. The full body sweep that feels generous and warm from a human perspective. This is the single most common way people pet cats, and for many cats, it is one of the least welcome. Here's why. The direction matters enormously. Stroking from head to tail moves against the natural grain of the cat's sensory experience in the second half of the motion. The area from the mid-back to the tail base is loaded with nerve endings, particularly around the tail base itself, that in many cats register prolonged touch as overstimulating rather than pleasant. The stroke that starts as welcome contact becomes something they're bracing against before it ends. Watch your cat's back ripple during a long stroke. That ripple is not pleasure. That is a nervous system signaling irritation. Now here's what most people don't realize about the tail base specifically. Some cats love it. Many don't. And the ones who don't will give you a very clear signal, a sharp tail flick, a sudden turn, a bite that seems to come from nowhere. It never came from nowhere. It came from the tail base 3 strokes ago. Stop the stroke at the shoulder blades. Everything south of that point is territory you should only enter with explicit invitation from the cat, meaning they actively push into your hand, not just fail to leave. 2. Where to pet and why biology decides it. Here's the part that changes everything, because once you understand the biology, every touch you give your cat becomes intentional. Cats have scent glands concentrated in specific locations on their body: the cheeks, the chin, the forehead, the base of the ears. These are not random. They are the sites of the facial pheromone, the chemical signal cats deposit when they mark something as safe, familiar, and belonging to their world. When you stimulate these zones, with the right pressure in the right direction, you're not just touching your cat. You are activating the neurological and chemical systems associated with safety and social bonding. Their body responds by releasing the same pheromone it uses to claim what it loves. You're being claimed every time you scratch your cat's chin correctly. The technique matters. Use fingertips, not the full hand. Small, circular, deliberate motions rather than broad sweeps. Follow the direction the fur grows. Apply the pressure of intention, firm enough to feel, gentle enough to invite rather than impose. Start at the forehead. Move to the cheeks. Spend time at the chin. Most cats have a spot just under the jaw that, when found, produces an immediate response. The head drops slightly. The eyes close. The purr deepens. You have found the place. The base of the ears is similarly powerful. The skin there is thin, the nerve endings dense, and the scent glands active. Small circular motions at the base, not the tips, unlock a quality of relaxation in most cats that nothing else quite replicates. These are the zones. Learn them. Use them every time. 3. the timing and approach that most owners get wrong. Almost nobody talks about this, and it undoes everything else. You can know every zone. You can use perfect technique, and still have your cat walk away if the approach is wrong. Here's the thing about how cats experience the moment before touch. They read your body as you move toward them, your speed, your posture, whether you're leaning over them or coming in from beside them, whether you reach directly for the head or pause, and let them come toward your hand. Reaching directly over a cat's head, the most common approach, triggers a mild startle response in many cats. It activates the threat detection system, however briefly, because overhead approach is how predators arrive. Even in a completely safe domestic context, the nervous system fires that ancient response before it recognizes you. Approach from the side instead. Let your hand arrive at their level, below their chin line, and pause before making contact. Let them sniff your fingers. Let them make the final movement toward your hand rather than your hand making the final movement toward them. That pause, that half second of offering rather than taking, changes everything about how the contact registers in their nervous system. Instead of something that happened to them, it becomes something they chose. A cat who chooses contact is a cat whose entire body is open to it. A cat who receives contact without choosing is a cat who is managing it. The difference is visible in every part of their response. The eyes, the ears, the quality of the purr, the length of time before they leave. Let them choose. Every time. Actionable takeaways. Tonight, change one thing. Stop the stroke at the shoulder blades. Just that. See what changes in how your cat responds to being petted. This week, focus your touch on the 3 zones: forehead, cheeks, chin, fingertips, circular motions, slow. Find a spot under the jaw that makes their eyes close. That is your target. And every time you initiate contact, pause first. Hand at their level. Let them come the last inch toward you. Watch how different the interaction feels when they arrive at the touch rather than the touch arriving at them. These are not complicated changes. They are small calibrations that completely transform what your cat experiences when you reach for them. Here's the truth underneath everything we covered today. Your cat has never needed you to pet them more. They have needed you to pet them better, with more intention, more biological awareness, more of the language their nervous system actually recognizes as care. The right zone, the right pressure, the right approach, the pause that gives them the choice. These are not techniques. They are translations. They are you learning to speak the physical language your cat was born understanding, and finally being understood back. And now, every time you reach for your cat, and they lean in instead of away, you'll know exactly what changed. Did you recognize yourself in any of these? The long stroke, the overhead reach, the tail base that ends every petting session early? Drop it in the comments, and tell me what your cat's specific reaction is when you get it right. Those moments are what this channel is built on. If you made it this far, you understand something most people never will. Cats aren't just pets. They're complex, emotional, intelligent beings. Tap the video on your screen to keep learning the secret language of cats. And subscribe to Cat Class, because understanding your cat changes everything.